industry-leading certifications and brings a wealth of industry experience in product management, systems engineering, and professional services. He previously worked at EMC and NetApp and was most recently responsible for product management and marketing of the mid-tier VNX product solution for Asia Pacific and the Japan region. Please welcome Satish Murthy, Pre-Sales Manager at Nimble Storage.
Thank you. So good morning to every one of you, and so let's get started. So how many heard Nimble before that advertisement? Yeah. Anybody knew about Nimble? Yeah, I also felt the same before I joined Nimble, right? So let's get started. So Nimble is a new company, relatively new, even more newer to this shores of Malaysia, and it's an exciting company which does flash hybrid storage, right? At the end of the day, we have all these applications, we have great set of tools from Microsoft, but you've got to store it somewhere. Whether you throw it into the cloud or you are storing it in a private cloud or a hybrid cloud, and your endpoint is somewhere on the disk. It has to rest somewhere. And that's where the performance has to be enhanced. And I'm going to talk more about that. So let's move on. So I put this topic as that piece of that cloud puzzle. You're building a lot about application, you talk about how fast things can happen. But if you look at your data center or your private cloud or hybrid infrastructure which you built, figure out one thing. Who is the slowest component in your data center? Right? You have these great mouse clicks on the application views. It's very, very fast. You talk about your servers, they are all electronic today. You talk about switches, they are almost wire speed, that's what we call it. And then think forward, there's one small thing which is actually the hard disk, which is the slowest in your data center. You go closer to a laptop, you will hear crick, 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 crick sound. That's exactly where your data remains. And if you want your application to work faster, you need something which will respond faster, right? And this is one big missing piece which just doesn't gel well for a long, long time. If you look at a storage industry for last 5-10 years, before the flash has come in, majority were built on hard disk. The more hard disk you have, the more disk that can spin together, you get better performance. And that was all these years until the flash has come into this industry, and what I call it as an Apple effect, right? The first time when I saw Apple, you press that button, it powers up, and then it gives you that feeling of wow. And that's how Nimble brings that effect to your data center. The latency is below millisecond for all the applications which you run. Below 1 millisecond, which I should explain. Right, so who is Nimble? So Nimble is one of the fastest growing storage company today, or the fastest growing systems company, put it either way. A wealth of customers today who talk about it, and if you go to our booth, there's even a Google page which talks about search for Nimble storage versus other storage in the market. But there's a growing number of large enterprise customers with Nimble, and over 900 plus channel partners. But the key thing to it is to roll out Microsoft application or SQL Server or SharePoint phenomenally well on any of the hypervisor with Nimble. There's a lot of storage industry players and it is crowded, but why Nimble is primarily because this is a flash optimized array giving exceptional performance. So the smallest of the Nimble array, which is 3U in size, if you go to a booth you will figure out the picture, or you can even visit nimblestorage.com, but this array is just 3U in size and does over 100,000 IOPS sustained, right, at a millisecond latency. And that makes a huge impact for your data center. So if you look at data center issues per se, whether it's on the cloud or the service provider in the background, you look at it, the compute has improved its performance incredibly well. Network, yes, has also gone from 1 gig to a 10 gig. The compute, if you follow the Intel's roadmap, has clocked multiple megahertz and gigahertz over the period of time. How about the storage? You look at the storage roadmap, the capacity increases. If you go to a showroom where an electronic shop, you will see 1 terabyte drive, 2 terabyte drive. Now you can buy 3 terabyte drives. But if you look at the speed of performance,